If you feel like you're never going to be able to comfortably retire, watch this. You might be in your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, knowing you need at least $1 million to retire on your own terms. But let me guess, you're not close to that 7-figure mark because most people aren't. But what if, within 10 years, you could replace the income you have right now and retire, even if you're starting with very little saved or invested? Today, I'm going to share with you my 5 steps for comfortably retiring in America. This is the path I followed, starting after the great financial crisis, when I saw hardworking people all around me forced to delay retirement or even keep working indefinitely when their hard-earned savings were wiped out overnight. I didn't want that to be me, and I don't want it to be you. And I know what you're probably thinking. Social Security is broken. 401ks aren't enough. Nobody has a pension anymore. And you're right. The traditional retirement path is over. You can forget about it. But there is another way. And the sooner you start working toward it, the sooner you can get there. Whether you're in your 20s or in your 50s, retirement is absolutely still in reach, and maybe even closer than you think with these 5 steps. Hey everyone, I'm Dave Meyer, Chief Investment Officer at BiggerPockets, and someone who started worrying about retirement really early in life. Now, I'm comfortably on the other side. After only 12 years running the exact playbook I'm about to share with you, I know that my retirement is taken care of. So how do we do it? Well, the key is, and this may sound overly simplistic, but the key is to replace your income. See, a lot of people think about growing their nest egg or their net worth when they think about retirement. But the key to retirement isn't just growing your net worth, it's income replacement. This is a key mindset shift that you need to make. It's not about saving money and then slowly draining it in retirement. It's about creating income you don't need to work that much for, so you can keep getting a paycheck even after you stop working. If instead you can find a way to sustain income even while you're not working, your bucket gets continuously refilled with cash coming in every single month. And luckily, there is still a proven way to replace your income that almost any American can do. The solution to our retirement problem, it's actually been the cornerstone of the American economy for generations. It's just not what people typically turn to for retirement. And the solution is entrepreneurship. Starting a business that produces cash flow is the single best way to guarantee a strong and stable retirement for yourself and your family. This is how you replace your income and potentially even pass on generational wealth to your family. And it might not take as long as you think. I built a calculator that shows it can be done by most people in 8 to 12 years, regardless of where you're starting from. This may sound unrealistic to some people, but I am proof that it works. I started a business 15 years ago. I followed the 5 steps I'm about to describe to you. Now I spend less than 10 hours per month running my business. If I wanted to leave my day job and retire today, I easily could. My business is owning and operating rental properties, so I'm going to use that as an example as I explain the 5 steps, but your business, it really could be anything. And please know, I'm not special at all. Trust me, if I can do this, it's absolutely something you can do too. So the process for securing retirement through entrepreneurship is easily thought of in 5 steps. Each one will take some time and effort, but it really can be this simple. The first step is to pick a business that you want to start. The second is to get funding for that business. Third is work in your business and become an expert at it. Fourth, implement systems and focus on efficiency. And fifth, gradually remove yourself from that business. Follow these steps and you'll be left owning a business that provides the monthly income you need to retire, but doesn't require you to work in the day-to-day. Let's break each step down. First, picking your business. You need to pick a business, and it's honestly not as easy as it might sound. There are many different businesses you can start, but I recommend asking yourself these 4 questions to sort of narrow it down for yourself. First, what's a type of business that you are confident you can run well, that are aligned with your skills, and you will like actually doing? Because if you're going to be doing this for a long time, maybe even a decade or more, you should be good at it and you should like it. For some people, this is starting or buying a service business like a painting company or a salon or something like that. For others, it's buying a vending machine route. But just find a business that you like and that you can be good at. Second, think through if you want to start a new business or buy an existing one. There's no right answer here, but there are pros and cons to each approach. An existing business will have proof of concept, it will have customers and systems already in place, but you'll probably need more starting capital to actually go out and buy it. A new business will give you more control, but there's also more risk. So just think about which one's right for you. Third question to ask yourself, are you going to go all in on this business today, or are you going to keep your current job and build your business on the side? This is going to depend a lot on your personal appetite for risk and likely your family situation, but I can assure you there are great business options out there with either option. Fourth question to ask yourself, does this business rely solely on you and your face? Because being a doctor or a lawyer or an influencer, it doesn't really work because once you leave that business, it's over. You want to find a business where you can realistically find someone to replace you as the primary operator of the business. Want to buy a car wash? Great. You can easily find a manager for that business when you want to retire. Want to buy a plumbing company? You can find someone to operate that. 15 years ago, I asked myself these exact questions. And once I answered them, it's how I landed on owning a rental property business. I was spending my weekends riding my bike around Denver. I was going to open houses, and I really liked it. I liked real estate. I knew I wanted to try it, and I had a strong suspicion that I would be good at it. I knew I didn't have the capital to just go out and buy someone's existing portfolio or to quit my job and go all in on real estate from day one. I'd have to start my own business and grow it as a side hustle, at least in the beginning. And I also knew that real estate is the kind of business that is really easy to outsource eventually. It's a business model that has existed for literally centuries and will continue for centuries into the future. So that's how I decided to start my rental property business. And as you can see, these aren't the types of questions that are really difficult to answer, but they can help you get organized about what type of business is right for you. But picking a business is kind of the fun part. The next step is where a lot of people get tripped up before their businesses even get off the ground. That's why we move on to step 2, funding your business. This is an essential part of getting off the ground, but it's also where a lot of people sort of get paralyzed and quit before they actually even do anything. So I'm breaking this out as a separate step. Funding in general, it's going to be different for different people, but there are 3 routes generally that you should consider. The first option is to self-fund. Maybe you just have a lot of cash. If you do, that's the easiest route by far. Just go buy a business or use the capital that you have to start something from scratch. If you have income from your job left over every single month, you can use that to build up your business slowly over time. So self-funding is option number 1. Option number 2 is small business loans or private money. If you are starting with limited cash, which is totally okay, that's where a lot of people start, you can raise money from outside sources or take out a loan. For example, you can always raise money from friends and family if you have people who are interested in helping you start a business or even want to be operators in that business. But if you don't, there are actually all sorts of programs that help small entrepreneurs get started. Just as an example, the Small Business Association gave out over 100,000 loans last year alone for businesses just like this. People often think that they don't have money to start or buy a business, but they say this before they even try. I really recommend spending some time on the SBA website or just Googling around for state or local programs that help people just like you start businesses. I promise you, there are more options out there than you think. The third option is seller financing, and this is a really cool option. It's basically when you buy a business, but you don't have to pay them all up front. You actually pay them over time. And we're in a uniquely good time for seller financing because boomers are aging, they're selling off businesses, and they're taking the Social Security that we're all paying into for them. Now, there is a wave of service businesses being sold, and seller financing is this great opportunity. Just think of it this way. You buy a landscaping business for $300,000. But similar to a mortgage, you pay that $300,000 over time. You may need a down payment, sometimes not though, but then you pay the owner, let's just say $500 a month till that entire purchase price is paid off. And this is a big win-win. Sellers get more income replacement, which they're gonna want for their retirement, and you get ownership of a business with cash flow for little or no money down. For me, I use a combination of these funding strategies. I used partnering for my down payment. I actually split the down payment with 3 other people for my first property, but then I also got a traditional mortgage to pay the rest. And this is similar to how you can get creative after doing some research and figuring out what options are available for you. So that was step 2 of the path. First was picking your business. Second was funding your business. Step 3 is operate and master. Once you have your business, you need to become great at it. You need to put in the time. You can't fake it. I'm calling this step 3 of 5, so it sounds simple on paper, but in reality, what this looks like is devoting significant time and effort over 2 to 5 years to make your business a success. This is the part you can't outsource. Your business doesn't need to take over your life. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you running a business is always easy, because it's not. You don't need to work a traditional 40-year career to reach retirement, but you do need to work for a while. I'm calling it 2 to 5 years in this business because, frankly, if you want that retirement, you're gonna have to earn it. For you, here's what I would recommend. First, if you're gonna buy a business, negotiate in the sale process a transition period where you can work alongside and learn from the previous operator. They're gonna know that business best, and most times this is required when you buy a business, so I would insist on this. If you're starting from scratch though, you need to find another way to learn from people with experience. And the best way to do that is find a community of people running similar businesses. This is absolutely essential. You will gain more from this than almost anything else, I promise you. For real estate investors, we have BiggerPockets, but there are also local entrepreneurship meetups or online communities depending on the business you choose. And I know it can be intimidating, but try your best to get out there and really interact with the community, because entrepreneurs who leverage the knowledge of others are far more likely to succeed. And I think what you'll find is people aren't that competitive with each other and they want to help. Once you've found this sort of mentor, you need to be the main person in your business for at least 1 year, and I think ideally 2 to 5. I know if you're working full-time, this can be hard, but you can choose how much to scale. You can sort of deliberately stay small in the beginning while you're learning. That is totally okay. But the goal here is, whether it takes you 1 year or 5, is to know the business inside and out. Unless you do this, you'll never be able to move on to steps 4 and 5, where you actually get to do less and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'll give you a few examples of what this looked like for me in my rental property business. First, it meant becoming a good property manager. Like everyone else, I made a ton of mistakes early on, but eventually I learned how to work with tenants. I taught myself to do basic property maintenance. I built connections with agents and contractors. So when the time came years later, I knew how all these aspects of my business actually worked, and I could choose what to outsource and how to do it effectively. I also learned ways to finance properties so that I could scale, and I became an expert at deal analysis. I like this part of the job, which is how I know I picked the right business, but it's still work, and I had to put in my time. It may sound like a lot, but if you work on your business consistently for 2 to 5 years, you are going to get great at it, I promise you. Exactly how long it takes will depend on the business you choose, but no matter what, you cannot skip this step. You need to understand the business inside and out. Once you've done that, you can move on to step 4, which is systems and efficiency. Once you know how to run the business well from your own sweat and effort, you then start to implement systems and processes that allow you to do less. You buy software. You hire contractors or even employees. You use AI. Once you know what good looks like for your business, you can automate. This is where you start to circle back to your original goal, which is a comfortable retirement. And I just want to call this out again, that you cannot just start this way. I wish you could, but you can't skip step 3. Until you become a master yourself, you won't know how to design the systems to automate. That's why you need to put in that work for 2 to 5 years to really get excellent at your business. Just as an example, once you know how to keep your books, hire and manage contractors or even employees, how to get insurance and loans and all that, you can start to outsource things. I would recommend starting by categorizing your time, or doing what I call a time audit. Since you've been in the business for a long time, start just writing down all the things you spend time on and literally count how much time you spend on each of them. Do you do marketing 5 hours a week? Write it down. Operations, 10 hours a week. Write that down. Bookkeeping, 3 hours a week. Write that down. You then use this list to prioritize outsourcing. Find the things that take the most time, or honestly, the things that you really don't like doing, and figure out how to outsource those first. You should also factor in the cost of outsourcing each task. There may be operations in your business that you've been doing for years that you find out are actually pretty cost effective to outsource to someone else. You may choose to keep doing some things to increase your profits in the near term if they're expensive to outsource. That's up to you. But as you think about what to outsource, I'll just give you 4 general ways that you can outsource some of your operations. The first is software. Can you find an existing product that's out there made for entrepreneurs like you that can automate your tasks? This is something like Hootsuite for content marketing or RentReady for property management. The second option for outsourcing is contractors. Can you find an expert to take some work off your hands? Some really easy things to offload to contractors are bookkeeping or taxes or property maintenance. The third option for outsourcing is to actually go out and hire employees. Yes, this does take work to manage people, but it can be worthwhile in the long run, especially when you're close to step 5 and you're getting ready to walk away. Training someone while you're still in the business every day can pay dividends for you for years. The fourth option is AI. Yep, I know it's still early days, but AI can already do a lot of stuff for you. So if there isn't a specific software solution out there for you already, you can actually train AI yourself to do things for you. I actually ran my business by myself for 10 years. I started at 22 and honestly didn't realize I should be implementing systems, and I missed out on this for years. But eventually I implemented systems that were so strong that I moved out of the country for 5 years. I haven't hired anyone full-time for my business, but I've done the other 3. I've used software. I've hired tons of contractors like property managers, accountants, agents, general contractors, and more. And I've started to use AI more and more to help with administrative tasks. So yeah, I haven't retired yet because I choose to work, but I was able to leave my business for 5 years and it kept going and even growing without me. Once you've done this automation and implemented your system, you can move on to the fun one, step 5, which is step away. At this point, you've put in the time to understand your business inside and out. You've created systems and have trusted people in place who can manage the day-to-day. And your business is still cash flowing enough on top of all those costs to cover your personal monthly expenses. Now, you have the option to step away whenever you want. You just need to figure out how much you want to be involved in your business during retirement. I know some people dream of not working at all, but frankly, to secure a good retirement in the US these days, you may need to work a little. This is basically just managing your manager, so to speak, and it can be done in a few hours per month. I promise you, it is not a ton of effort, and it's kind of fun to keep involved with your business and see it keep growing even without you. As I've shared, I haven't fully stepped away, but I've significantly reduced how much I work on my portfolio. 10, 20 hours a month max. Usually, honestly, it's like 3 hours. If I wanted to, I could actually retire tomorrow. My real estate business creates enough monthly cash flow that I could live off it, just like I currently live off my W-2 paychecks from working at BiggerPockets. If Social Security goes insolvent, and the stock market tanks, I'm still confident my business will carry me through a comfortable retirement. So that's it. Follow these 5 steps and you can retire comfortably in America. Just as a reminder, the steps are: 1, pick the right type of business for you. 2, find the funding to get it off the ground. 3, become a master at operating it. 4, create systems and hire a team to make your business more efficient. And step 5, step away and enjoy the profits. This is how you retire in America. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to get more videos from BiggerPockets. I'm Dave Meyer, and I'll see you next time.